Welcome to the Stock Guy Analysis. Okay, get this. The biggest crypto skeptic on Wall Street just dropped over 100 million on a crypto play. You heard that right. So, what in the world is going on? We're going to break down this absolutely wild story right now. Welcome back to where smart money meets crypto innovation. And boy, do we have a story for you today. We're talking about a move that has literally sent shock waves through both Wall Street and the crypto world. $12.5 million. Just let that number hang in the air for a second. This isn't just some casual bet. This is a massive, massive statement. But the crazy part isn't just the amount of money. It's who just wrote that check. And that brings us to the core question we're tackling today. Why in the world did JPMorgan Chase, the same bank whose CEO famously called Bitcoin a fraud, just go all in with a 9-figure bet on an Ethereum company? Seriously, what's the play here? Let's get into it. All right, first things first. Let's lay out the hard facts. This isn't some rumor I saw on social media, okay? This is legit. It comes straight from official SEC filings. So here's the deal. JPMorgan Chase, we're talking the biggest bank in the US, just scooped up almost 2 million shares of a company called BitMine. And this stake, valued at over $100 million, is a direct bet on a company whose entire business model is basically to stack as much Ethereum as humanly possible. Okay, so that obviously begs a question, right? Who the heck is BitMine, and what are they doing that's got Wall Street giants like JPMorgan knocking at their door? Well, BitMine is a publicly traded company, and their strategy is actually super simple but really powerful. They just buy and hold ETH. That's it. So, for investors, it's a way to get exposure to Ethereum by buying a regular old stock, without having to mess around with crypto wallets and exchanges. And this right here is the perfect way to think about it. If you've been in the crypto space for a while, you definitely know about MicroStrategy, right? The company that's basically become a giant Bitcoin vault. Well, BitMine is doing the exact same thing, just for Ethereum. So a bet on BitMine stock is really a big leveraged bet on ETH itself. And believe me, they're not messing around. We're talking about 3.4 million ETH sitting on their balance sheet. To put that in perspective, that makes them the single largest corporate holder of Ethereum on the planet. And it's not even close. Okay, but to really get how huge this is, we have to talk about JPMorgan's history with crypto, because this isn't just another investment for them. No, this is a complete 180 degrees U-turn. Let's jump in the time machine and go back to 2017. This is a direct quote from JPMorgan CEO Jamie Dimon. He called Bitcoin a fraud and said he'd fire any trader in a second for trading it. I mean, you can't get more anti-crypto than that, right? So, keep that in mind as we look at what's happened since. This timeline just lays it all out. It's an incredible journey. They went from a hard no in 2017 to dipping their toes in the water with their own JPMorgan coin in 2019. Then fast forward to 2024, and they're suddenly helping their clients get into Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. And now here we are in 2025. They're not just facilitating, they're taking crypto ETFs as loan collateral and making their own 100 million strategic investment. They've gone from total hater to a major player. So, okay, what does this one big investment really mean for the market as a whole? Is it just a one-off? Well, as it turns out, JPMorgan is not alone at this party. Not by a long shot. Look at this list. You've got ARK Invest in the mix. Cathie Wood's fund that goes after game-changing tech. They're in for almost 25 million bucks. Then you have Vanguard, one of the biggest names in the world for regular folks' investments and retirement funds. This means BitMine stock is probably finding its way into all sorts of passive funds. This isn't just one bank taking a flyer. This is a real trend. You've got the visionary money and the mainstream money all pouring into the same place. So, why is everyone saying this is such a huge bullish signal? Well, a few big reasons. First, this is the ultimate institutional seal of approval. When JPMorgan buys in, other funds get serious FOMO and want a piece of the action. Second, it's just basic supply and demand. All these big players are buying up shares, which means there are fewer shares left on the market for everyone else. That can squeeze the price higher. And finally, This is a massive validation for ETH itself. It tells every other company out there that holding Ethereum on your balance sheet is a serious, legitimate strategy. And the vibe on social media, well, it pretty much says it all. People are calling this the ETH BlackRock moment. And that's a huge comparison. They're saying this is just as big for Ethereum as when BlackRock, the biggest asset manager on Earth, filed for a Bitcoin ETF. It's that signal, the one that says the real institutional floodgates might be about to open, but this time for ETH. All right, so let's zoom out. What does all of this mean for the future? For the relationship between crypto and Wall Street? What we could be witnessing here is a genuine paradigm shift. This might be the moment that holding crypto-related assets goes from being this weird fringe idea to just standard operating procedure for the biggest players on Wall Street. It's becoming part of the main playbook. And that leaves us with one last really big question to chew on. When the biggest bank in the game, run by a guy who was once crypto's #1 critic, makes a $100 million move like this, is this it? Is this the final nail in the coffin for the skeptics? The ultimate sign that crypto is just too big, too powerful for Wall Street to ignore any longer. It really feels like the dominoes are starting to fall, doesn't it? And you can bet we'll be right here to break down every single one as it happens. So stay tuned because the next update could absolutely change the game.